This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf, and it's available in print in 13 states at your local cannabis retailer and also available online at leafmagazines.com. I'm Mike Ricker, your host of Leaf Life, with my co-host and partner, Wes Abney, also known as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course, there's Stashley.
The token female.
And Mary J. White.
The smoking female.
Welcome to the second half of this Leaf Life show called Incarceration to Cannabis Co-op. In just a moment, we'll get into how a cannabis co-op can create one giant menu for mankind. And we'll spin Stash's wheel to see what products Patrick Butch, who is the co-founder of ROGANJA and part of a 15-brand co-op in Southern Oregon, this show's Greg the Guinea Pig, is going to be trying next. But first, it's time for Who Does That?
Really? You gotta be kidding.
No way.
Seriously?
Utterly perplexing.
Who does that?
Mary J. White, you'd think you worked for TMZ with stories like this, Mary.
You think.
You know?
Because this is some dirty behind-the-scenes stuff right here.
You work for THC.
That's right, baby. I'm on the staff. So, this happened very recently in the beautiful town of Cranston, Rhode Island. Okay? Ladies walking
Love
down
that
the street.
place.
It sounds like a crampy city.
Cranston.
But we love you, Rhode Island. Hey,
Yeah, you're
big ups,
great.
Northeast Leaf, baby.
Love you. Anyway, so this lady's walking by and she sees the dude sleeping behind the wheel of his car. And she's like, oh, that doesn't look right. So she calls the police. Matthew Riley was the person that was caught sleeping behind the wheel of his vehicle. Matthew Riley is a city councilman in Cranston, and he is found asleep with not only a smoking the smoking
Apparatus.
but crack on
A
him.
crack pipe.
A crack pipe.
He's a city council member.
City
just
council
taking a
member.
nap.
Well, the officers were shocked by what they found because Riley also had quite a bit of other things with him, cocaine to be exact. And Riley told them that due to a bad divorce, he had relapsed after 13 years being sober.
Yeah.
He is also an attorney, and he's had to resign as chairman of the Republican Party.
Yeah. Well, hey, relapsing is not a funny thing
No,
to
it's
joke
not.
about.
It's not funny.
He's obviously an addict.
Right.
But he, is also a hypocrite.
His car
There's
was
that.
filthy. This is like a big news story.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, but still, I don't know.
He'd been cracked out for a minute.
Yeah, I still think
Yeah.
that the person who calls the police over that
Is a dick.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
the person looks like they're dead or
Right, and
dying.
then call the
If you're just
police.
taking a fucking nap.
Yeah, if I'm high,
and
leave
then
me
you
the fuck alone.
Like, what if you're a drunk person and you pull over and you're sleeping it off?
Yeah.
Doing the responsible thing.
If the keys are in the ignition, you're going to jail.
Nowadays, that doesn't even matter.
Really?
Yeah, if you're in a car. Yeah, but that's bullshit. It's like you're doing the responsible thing.
Yeah.
He's at a park,
Yeah.
taking a crack nap.
Just because it has a couple pounds of cocaine on him, it's no
I
big
don't
deal.
know.
Crack
What
nap.
are his policies? Let's worry about
At least
that.
he wasn't drunk.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever. Who does that? All right, let's spin Stash's wheel and see what the pinch hitter Stash is going to be hitting next. Stash, may I recommend a sativa this time?
No.
You're yawning over there.
I know.
Thing. She holds up really well considering all the cannabis she has to consume during the show.
And
True.
carry in that stash bag.
That's
Yeah.
right. That stash bag's heavy, too. It gets, carrying that thing around will weigh you down.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's like doing Stairmaster.
What do you got
I
there?
grabbed some joints.
All right.
This is the Gelatina
From Humo.
From Humo.
Yeah, Humo means smoke.
Humo,
I
nice.
just looked it up during the break. It
Good.
means smoke in Spanish. And yeah,
And that's that California company, right?
it is. Yeah.
Craft grown.
That's beautiful.
Check them out on
Yeah.
Instagram, man.
Nice packaging.
They have a really
Yeah.
nice brand ambassador that I met.
Yeah?
Yes, and that's who I, kind of touched base with, and she
Ooh.
gave me the products, and I said, you know what? I am going to take these to Washington with me on a
Allegedly.
flight. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes. On a flight, and feature them on the Leaf Life podcast. Now, what really happened was somebody smuggled them over here and they accidentally fell off the back of their truck.
That could
and I
happen.
just happened to miraculously find them.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, well, sometimes a blind squirrel gets a nut, Mary.
That's right, baby. That is
There
true.
you go. How's that taste, Stash?
That's
Gorgeous.
delicious. It's
Gorgeous.
Yum,
Smooth.
but it is an indica, so sorry.
Okay, well, if Stash starts
that's what
napping,
it says.
know that she's not doing meth and she's not a city council member, so
No,
she's not a
not-
hypocrite.
Crack nap.
She
Well-
works with the leaf.
That's right.
All right,
Sometimes you take
Patrick.
enough uppers, you go down.
So ROGANJA is your company. That's your dad right there on your T-shirt that you're wearing. He's
That's
smoking a
dope.
J.
Hey,
He's
Dad.
wearing a fedora, or that's some sort of farming hat or whatever. That's big ups, bro. That's showing props to your dad, who was incarcerated for cannabis. And did I get that wrong?
Incarcerated.
Incarcerated. Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. We knew what you meant.
That secondhand smoke from you and West, Stash, get me all stony baloney. By the way, coming up at the end of the show, stony baloney. That's an ode to your dad, who was a farmer who believed in cannabis, obviously for recreational use as well as medicine. And now you've got a company named ROGANJA. Why?
Why do we have a company named ROGANJA? Or
And why are you in the business? Why are you part of a collective
Yeah,
now?
why?
of 15
Patrick.
just the
companies?
lifestyle of being around cannabis is the best. People are laid back. You're growing this plant at ROGANJA. We have all our own strains, so we do our own in-house breeding, and we bring in like a clone every once in a while of something, hype if we want to bring it into the breeding program. And so for us, everything is grown from seed. We have our own, everything's like in the fall when the buds are just huge colas on the plants. It's something to see. Like, every plant has its own little uniqueness and different, maybe a smell, and you find a winner and then you breed with that one. And it's just, the lifestyle of being around cannabis is, it's laid back. Well, in theory, it's laid back. With the the recreational, it's not as laid back. But
Yeah.
Well, it seems like other farm communities have embraced co-ops as a means of survival. Same situation applies. Giant mega corporations grow all the apples or grow all the whatever it is. Normal farmers get together so that they can have buying power, share the equipment, like you mentioned. And what's different with weed, where it goes to that next level, is that branding, where you can combine all of your resources, because you're not just selling your apples to a wholesaler like Treetop, who's going to turn it into all the shit, which is the same thing. Basically, they extract it and then take a concentrate, and then that
Yeah.
apple concentrate becomes everything else.
A whole bunch of
You
stuff.
guys are doing that together as a survival mechanism, but also part of the community, right?
yeah, it's really cool. Like, growing up in the medical and then, before medical, and you're just kind of like solo, you didn't want to get busted. So you didn't branch out that much. Now with the co-op, just meeting the other farms, like, one of my neighbors is now one of my great friends. He's a producer as well, and other people in the co-op, now all of a sudden you're kind of out there branching out. You're meeting other farmers that are going through the same exact struggles as you. And just, it's nice to bring it back around, to where you're part of the community again.
Where you can be out in the community.
Yeah.
And I've been down to Medford, Ashland, or Ashford?
Ashford.
Ashland,
It
yeah.
is Ashland.
Out in Ashland.
There's
I mean,
Shakespeare Festival there every year.
Yeah.
Man, you go there in October and the whole town smells like weed.
Nice.
It is the weirdest thing. It's like it's like driving past a Burger King or something. You go in and it just
Flame broiled.
yeah, it's just all weed, the whole town, and it's because there's so many grows around there that it just it hangs in the air.
Well, and I have to say, the people that I have met on this show from Oregon, like you, Patrick, have a very, very excellent energy. Like you're chill and you're like happy and shit, and your skin is good. I think
That's not us here in 502.
Oregon's a very healthy place to live.
Big city.
There's a lot of rain. There's a lot of trees, so you get clean air and clean water. And you know what? Oregon farmers grow the world's best weed.
I would agree.
We
I
do
just
have
said
like
that.
the best climate down there, hot, dry,
Yeah, nice.
and it lasts throughout the harvest season.
So when we talk about creating one giant menu for mankind, the benefit of being part of a co-op does allow you not only to get creative and like market together and, combine all your products together to sell and increase your selling power and such. How does that work for the consumer? Because it could be very confusing when there's a bunch of brands under one umbrella and they're like, well, which one do I want? How do I choose? Right. And for you guys doing business, what if there is a differentiation in quality and such? How do you determine those elemental factors?
A couple of things we've kind of been working on in the co-op is a grading system. And it's, kind of like a wine score.
Yeah.
And so you can get a grade. It's pretty strict. I think it's actually based on a company out of Washington, Big Tree, I think it's called. And
we've had them on the podcast before.
So like, 85 is like an excellent score. So the consumer would, if this was
out of 100.
So
there's no perfect scores.
There's no perfect scores.
There shouldn't be.
And so, this gets the consumer, like if you like if you're like good with a 75, then that's, what you're getting every time. The buyer, like trying to make it easier for the buyer really to be like, is this a $500 pound, a $600 pound?
Oh, I see.
It's like, if you're buying something that's at that score, you're going to get that quality. And so, that's just one of the things of the co-op.
And then how do you decide, like, do the farmers get together and go, okay, we're going to score on amount of trichomes or density of what's it? And
hopefully not THC percentage.
Yeah, because that would be stupid.
Yeah,
but that's the norm. That's what most people judge cannabis on, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I'm not on the grading committee in the co-op, but there are like 3 people. And they have their checklist. I think it's 5 things they're checking for, and then you get a score. And in the co-op, though, there will still be like individual farms at this moment. Like, we will co-brand some stuff, but if you want flower and it's coming from ROGANJA, we're Sun & certified, you're getting the best product out there.
It's like a equivalent to organic certification because you can't call weed organic.
Oh, right.
The other thing that Oregon has that's an advantage for your type of co-op is deli style cannabis sales where you
can
cannabis,
smell it,
and even sometimes touch it.
Yeah.
Here in Washington and in some markets, all the weed is just in a sealed container. You're not allowed to open it. And it doesn't allow you to have that experience with the plant. And I think that's why sun-grown does so well in Oregon is because you can go to the dispensary and smell it and you smell those terps.
Yeah.
And you get a different experience, different spectrum of flavor because it's from the sun. And you get that chance to experience it like with your nose.
Yeah.
And also have it be a little more affordable than the indoor. Versus in Washington, it's hard. You look at an indoor jar in glass.
Yeah.
And then some outdoor in glass, it doesn't look quite as nice. And so it's hard to convince the user to put out and buy that weed that doesn't look as nice or has a lower THC number because they're not getting to interact with it.
Makes sense.
And
I don't
feel that terroir.
And why, I'm sorry, but why don't they let us smell it? Here, what's the deal?
Control freaks.
Apparently.
Now, what's the name of the co-op? Does it have an actual brand?
Yes, it's called Southern Oregon Family Farms. And so, it's just everyone, we got our little region, called Southern Oregon. And,
it's your own appellation?
Kind of. And so, so Southern Oregon Family Farms. And we're hoping to keep growing. Right now we're at 15 and we're still just kind of just building. It's been over a year. There's a Leaf Link page where you can see the different farms on there and the products that we have.
But it really does sound like a wine growing region, almost like a DOC.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
very much like that.
Like that's really exciting. Because in the future, can you see little tasting rooms at your place, and we can come
a co-op tasting lounge,
smoke the things,
and that helps keep the boutique brands boutique.
Yeah, and
so
we
they
want
can
that.
afford to stay in business.
Yep,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah.
So you keep it up, Patrick.
Okay. Yep.
All right, Patrick, now it's time for you to play the Weirded Lorax.
Oh, Patrick.
Now, can we all just get a long hair? Weird. This is the Weirded Lorax.
All right, brother, you're going to have to put your thinking cap on for this one. It's tough. It's difficult.
Okay.
Okay, you got all three right last time. Dude's ready to party, Mary.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Which of these events actually happened? All right? You have to listen intently.
Be 3.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Any one of these could be absolutely true. So you want to get to the details.
Okay.
You don't know?
All right, brother, here we go. 40,000 years ago, the first bearded lorax arrived from a galaxy far, far away from a planet called Beard in a galaxy called Groom. The planet Beard is next to a planet called Bristle, which is next to a planet called Fuzz, and its first moon is called Pelt. Okay.
It's not looking good for that one.
Number 2. Oh, well, who knows?
You don't watch space shows.
Prove it. All right, number 2. On a secret space mission in the year 2001, the first bearded lorax trip to the moon was canceled when the bearded lorax caught his beard on fire from a butane torch after attempting to serve flaming cherries jubilee whilst eating upside-down cake in the attempts to rebrand this spongy dessert as right-side-up cake.
Oh, Jesus God.
That's number 2.
It should, I mean, upside down cake. It's just confusing.
It is.
Gotta change, rebrand.
Right side up.
See, he's very convincing. He doesn't know which one he's going to go with.
Wow.
Could be any of them. And number 3. Prior to the recording of a string of Leaf Life shows, the bearded lorax witnessed a rat scamper across the restaurant floor of famed Leroy's Diner just before enjoying a plate of deer sausage that was also consumed by Stashley, resulting in a slight case of food poisoning in beautiful Anchorage, Alaska. It should be noted that the rat was not part of the menu offerings. 1, 2, or 3 in the bearded lorax, brother.
I'm gonna have to go with number 3.
Number 3 is correct.
Oh, how'd
Wow.
you get that? You're so smart.
This guy's 100%, Mary.
Patrick.
Damn.
I love you, Alaska, but don't eat at Leroy's.
Mary, how did he know?
Ashley told me.
Oh.
Actually,
That was
that's
pre-Ashley.
false. I was not there.
Oh, was it Harley?
That's a Harley
Yeah.
story.
That was Harley. Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
Ooh, so none of them were true.
Well, she got sick.
You're wrong. No, I'm kidding.
Just another redhead. What can I tell you?
they're so interchangeable.
Patrick, where can we find you on social media?
On social media, you can find us at ROGANJA, Oregon on Instagram. and
ROGANGA.
Oregon.
Yeah.
And then you can find the SO Family Farms on the internet. And if you're interested in being a helper outer, join the co-op, you can subscribe to the co-op as well.
Oh, that's a good idea. Then do you send us a little co-op package every month?
You can come in on meetings and then see what's going on in the co-op.
Or
No,
a
I mean-
newsletter?
Free examples is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
samples.
We're trying to figure it out.
Sorry, Mary, that's not like your grocery co-op that
Okay,
they have
never
here
mind.
in Washington.
Fine.
Thank
We
you
don't
so
get a
much.
veggie box?
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the Leaf Life podcast, my guy.
Thank you so much for having
And
me.
for flying up here from Medford
Yeah.
and flying back tonight.
Yeah.
Means a lot to us. We appreciate you. And if there's anything we can do for you at Oregon Leaf, please let us know.
All right. Thanks so much.
Wes, next week, homeschooling.
Oh, boy.
Sounds like a crazy experiment.
Yeah, Wes, you missed the bell, pal.
Yeah, Wes.
Download this and all Leaf Life episodes at leafmagazines.com. You can listen to all Leaf Life podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere you enjoy podcasts, including YouTube. Just please subscribe at Leaf Life Podcast V2. Now, here comes another episode of Stony Baloney, written by moi, which is also available at leafmagazines.com. And please be kind to animals.
Your hosts for Leaf Life are Mike Ricker and Wes Abney. Leaf Life is produced by Mike Daly. Some of the music heard is provided by purple-planet.com. Every bit of cannabis you use is female, so please respect the ladies. Leaf Life is brought to you by Leaf Nation, featuring Alaska Leaf, Oregon Leaf, Northwest Leaf, Maryland Leaf, Amsterdam Leaf, and California Leaf. On the shelf now in your local retailer. Now, please stay tuned for this week's edition of Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
What we learned from Slugworth. Everyone has seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? Well, Slugworth, in case you have the memory of Dory the fish, is the creepy, long-faced fucker who scares kids straight. Kind of like that sinister spider-like pervert in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, who smells children better than his own farts. But that's an entirely different personality disorder. These guys are good old-fashioned villains. Stories need them. They play an important role, which is to make you uncomfortable so that when there is a release of tension, your happy ending has the most impact, leaving you with an earned feeling of satisfaction. It's what keeps us buying movie tickets. And winning this small victory has value in society today because badly needed is a reinforced belief in humanity. You see, real life used to mean overcoming pestilence and armed invaders, but now we just live vicariously through a film that does the work for us. Even WALL-E, a picture of how lazy and worthless people have become in the future because of the advancement of technology, has a conflict and resolution with a satisfying finish that leaves us with the positivity of goodwill. This goes to prove that in cinema, even a society with no purpose other than to sit on their ass all day in a spaceship and drink big gulps is capable of redeeming value. Anyway, Slugworth was the X Factor, Wonka's inside double agent, the mole. It was his job to test the moral compass of these neurotic little rascals. So what we learned from Slugworth, even though he presented a misleading guise himself, is that honesty is the best policy. And if your values outshine your greed, the redemption is as indistinguishable as the everlasting gobstopper. And what we learned from Willy Wonka is that with simple imagination, flavored wallpaper, chewing gum meals, and fizzy lifting drinks are conceivable if you just believe in your dreams. And even more wonderful is that they can all be infused.
Stony baloney. Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker and Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming. Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. There may be health risks associated with consumption of this product. For use by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children.